No one else I take it is experiencing it.
No, I'm fine.
Fine on this end, Gene.
Huh. Am I still there?
Still here.
Two nothing Yankees already.
Uh,
They just hit a
yeah,
home run in the bottom of the first.
I have to keep it
Why is it so
interesting.
far?
Okay, I show 6:30 p.m. on October 1st, 2025. This is the Nahant Board of Selectmen meeting, and I hereby call this meeting to order. First off is opening comments. Gene or Patrick? Okay. I'm going to put on my Wharfinger hat for a minute and let everybody know that, like the sign says, as you come into town, we're going to be hauling the boats out on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Probably 25 boats will be coming up on those 2 days, and there will be no parking in the larger lot. The outer lot, the south lot, will be open for business, but we'll be moving boats into the larger lot. We are also pulling out the town float this coming Friday, just to let folks know that also. Making an announcement that the town hall will be closed on Monday, October 13th, 2025, in observance of the Columbus Day holiday. We also have our usual metal, white goods, TV, computer recycling. It will be ending soon. The last two Saturdays for the season will be Saturday, October 4th and Saturday, October 25th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon behind the DPW garage. Certain fees may apply. Visit the community calendar at nahant.org for more information. We've started fall curbside leaf pickup. That it will first occur on October 4th on every Monday except Columbus Day until November 24th. Leaves must be in biodegradable bags only. No open barrels, roots, root balls, or branches bigger than 4 inches in diameter. Bags must be curbside by 7 a.m. The Johnson School PTO Halloween Bash is on Saturday, October 18th, 2025. The trunk or treat event will be from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and the Halloween Bash will be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. All events will take place at the Little League Field and parking lot on Flash Road. Water, sewer, and trash bills have been mailed out and are due by October 20th, 2025. Real estate bills will be mailed out October 1st today and will be due back by November 3rd, 2025. The National Grid townwide planned power outage is scheduled for Tuesday, October 7th, 2025, with a rain date of October 8th. Interruption of power will begin at 10 p.m. and last to approximately 6 a.m. The police and fire departments will remain open and operational during the outage. Under new business, this is a little bit of an unusual one. We will be voting to buy back 2 cemetery plots at the Green Lawn Cemetery, so I'll make the motion. I move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the request to buy back the 2 presented burial plots from the family of Ruth and Joseph DeClerico. The lots are numbered 162 and a half in Block B in the Green Lawn Cemetery, and we will buy back the plots for the original purchase price of $1,000. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Ruth and Joseph DeClerico originally were buried in the 2 lots presented. However, their family has recently moved them to a new plot in a cemetery closer to their family. Further discussion? Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Pat O'Reilly, aye.
And Rob Tibbo, aye. Vote motion carries. We have a vote to approve Board of Selectmen meeting minutes. I'll make a motion. This is actually a complicated one because we've got a pretty good script here. I move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from September 3rd, 2025.
Seconded.
Roll call vote for Pat and I only.
Pat O'Reilly, aye.
And Rob Tibbo, aye. Next motion, I move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from September 17th, 2025. Gene?
Seconded.
And a roll call vote for Gene and I.
Gene Canty, aye.
Rob Tibbo, aye. Gotcha.
Abstain.
Ongoing business. We have MBTA 3 days zoning bylaw update. Allison?
Yep. So the planning board had their public hearing last week. That was attended. I think that there were 28 people who attended online. It was a hybrid meeting, and there were about 8 of us in the audience. And so the planning board presented their draft of the zoning bylaw as well as the zoning overlay map to comply with the 3A MBTA requirements. There are some good questions, and the planning board was supposed to meet last night to finalize their draft recommendation to give to the finance committee. And they did not meet last night. The meeting didn't get posted in time. So the plan now, my understanding is for the planning board to meet next Tuesday night, finalize their draft recommendation to hand off to the finance committee. And then, the finance committee will have to meet and they'll assemble the warrant book that will be sent out to every resident prior to special town meeting. So right now we're looking at having special town meeting the second week of November. So it's a little bit dependent on if the planning board does finalize their recommendation next week's meeting, but the Board of Selectmen will have to take a vote on when the actual date of the special town meeting will be.
The second week of November, is there a date?
So it can't be Monday because that's Veterans Day. I've heard people say, I think the Thursday, which is that the 13th, is the preferred date right now, from what I'm hearing. So it'd be like a 7 o'clock meeting.
And do we know how much before that the meeting must be posted? Is it?
Yeah, Dan knows all that good stuff.
We have an outline that we created.
Yeah.
But well, the real key is getting the FinCom book out. And I want to say that's 14 days. Well, 14 days. It's supposed to warrant 14 days before special town meeting.
Yeah, I thought the book has to be in residents' hands 7 days before the meeting.
Yeah, the book does. That's true. But the warrant needs to be posted 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yep.
And we'll need to vote on that, right?
The warrant, the date of the special town meeting? Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yes.
Yep.
So we're getting pretty tight on time as far as getting that warrant book published and mailed out and such. We don't have anything to send out just yet.
Nope. I did, after the public hearing last week, I reached out to the members of the finance committee just to let them know, that they were only holding the one public hearing. It wasn't continued or anything. So they should, kind of be getting ready to meet themselves once they see a recommendation from the planning board.
Do we have a feel at all at how long it would typically take the printers to get something like that out the door?
So the printers,
4
we
weeks.
already put on notice. They turn around. I imagine this to be a small booklet, right?
Yeah.
I don't imagine it going to be one that would be at a regular town meeting. I did have the chair of the finance committee stop by last week and asked kind of the same question. The printer is on, they've been put on call that this is
Okay.
coming up. They're aware of it. And I kind of assimilated it to when we had a special town meeting a few years ago in regards to the Coast Guard housing properties, and that was about a 20-page warrant book, and it took them less than a week to turn that around. So I'm assuming I'm kind of going by that same time frame.
Okay.
So I do think by next week, we should have a more solid plan in place after the planning board meets again.
I did work with Rob Steinberg to finalize their recommendation, so I think it's a matter of just putting a rubber stamp on it and getting it out. So it's
Yeah.
pretty much done.
Okay.
That's good news. Thank you, Dan. What else do we have here, Allison? The MBTA.
Yeah, so the MBTA public hearing on the Linway Multimodal Corridor project that was supposed to take place at Town Hall a few weeks ago. It's been rescheduled. It's taking place at Town Hall next Thursday night. It's October 9th from 5:30 to 7:30, the main hall in Town Hall. It's not a formal presentation. They're calling it more of an open house. So there's going to be officials from the MBTA here. Residents are encouraged to attend, and actually anybody in the surrounding area. So other communities, we're publicizing it. Anyone can attend that might have an interest in the project. There's going to be a registration table. Well, they'll walk in, they'll register, put down, their name and information. And then the MBTA officials are going to have easels set up around the room with, maps of the project. And then in the middle of the room will be a big map that kind of, lays out the layout of the Linway. I know that Pat attended a similar style open house that Marblehead hosted. And Pat, you might want to weigh in more on your experience, but my understanding is it's just an opportunity for residents and other, local participants to ask questions about what might come up.
Yeah, it was very, I attended the Marblehead meeting and it was unlike the presentation style of the Lynn meeting. There were conversations going around and various members of the project team were having conversations with different residents, and I believe one select person from Marblehead was in attendance, and I thought it was a nice format, opportunity to have real discussions, back and forth discussions about what people, the concerns people had. People were expressing a lot of the same sorts of concerns at both meetings about any potential lane reductions or disruptions to car travel, it seemed like the project team was very open to feedback at this point in the project. They were looking for some ideas and what people wanted. So definitely an informal. It's not a stand up and give your input and sit back down. It's just a conversational format. So I think that will be good for discussions.
Pat, was it well attended?
I think the Lynn meeting had more people than the Marblehead meeting. So I would say people were coming and going in the Marblehead meeting. So maybe a dozen or dozen and a half people were attending.
Okay.
So it wasn't, certainly wasn't representative of the entire community, but people who were very concerned or very involved, and there were some really well-informed comments and discussions. So, I think if people are coming to be informed or they have some feedback, I think it's great to do your homework and come ready to have some real discussion.
Thank you. I was just looking to see what the real interest level is or was.
All I can say is that if you look at electronic media, it is dominating topic of conversation. But as we've seen when it comes to going to the meetings and the open houses and such, then maybe a little less so. But you know what? The questions are getting asked, the topics are being discussed one way or the other. It's very informational to keep an eye on.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's true. That's great.
Yeah. In terms of us advertising this opportunity, we're going to post it to the town website. We've contacted our PR firm to do a press release. I'll probably contact the item. I know the MBTA has put it out in their newsletter that we're offering this open house. So we are trying to get the word out there to have residents. I have had some residents email me directly, say, voicing their concerns, and I've encouraged them to come and voice their concerns in person. I think the time of the meeting is beneficial in the fact that it's an open house style. People can come after work. So there's ample opportunity to participate.
That
Thank
sounds
you.
great. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about it as far as how did we get a good crowd and what was discussed. All good. Let's see. Town administrators report.
So I have a few things. Today, our public health nurses hosted a flu clinic here at Town Hall. So they did one session in the morning for their high dose vaccine, and then they just finished up another session in the afternoon for regular dose. I think both were fairly well attended. So that all went really well. So I just wanted to give a thank you to Anna McNicholas, our public health nurse, that coordinated all of that and made that available to residents of the town. Next Wednesday night, I'm having a Zoom meeting with the Upper Valley Road neighborhood. This is in response to a resident contacted me a few months ago stating he had some safety concerns about Valley Road from the area of Nahant Road to Spring Road. There's a big bend in the road, and when there's cars parked on the road and someone's trying to pass down the road, it's a blind spot there. Zach and I met with the resident to discuss the concern and kind of look at the area. And we did deem that there was, a public safety issue. Sorry, my light just went out. It likes to go out when I'm not moving. And so after speaking with Chief Furlong and Zach, we determined that we were going to do no parking on that section of Valley Road in order to eliminate, that safety issue. So I sent a letter out to the residents in the area telling them, what we found and what our recommendation was. And I got a lot of feedback from my initial letter saying from certain individuals that they did not want it to be all no parking there. So going back to Chief Furlong and Zach, we decided to have a neighborhood meeting. And so we're having it via Zoom format just to kind of get input from the residents in that area, see, what other recommendations we can come up with. I do think that there is a safety issue there. So I do believe that we have to do something. But I wanted, the neighborhood to feel like they have input. I wanted to hear them all out. And then we come up with the best solution for that area. So that's next Wednesday at 7. It's October 8th at 7. If anybody wants to join, they just have to reach out to me for the Zoom login information.
Allison, I think that's a fabulous forum to bring people together and have a good discussion. I know it's hard because you talk to one person, maybe you bump into another person, you get a little bit of input. Giving them the opportunity to come together electronically like this, I'm surprised we haven't done it before. So I think this is great.
Yeah, so we'll see how it turns out. But I've already been contacted by at least 4 residents for the Zoom login information. So I do know it's going to be well attended.
That's great.
Is that a process you could use going forward with different events?
So in terms of neighborhood meetings, yes, we could. I
Yeah.
use Zoom all the time. So if I actually am having meetings with a couple of different department heads and our schedules don't line up, I'll meet with them via Zoom. I've also, our town engineer, Vicky, who's our consultant, she's offsite a lot of times. I'll Zoom with her and bring in other parties. I was just on a Zoom with Dan the other day. So I do tend to use it when, there's a lot of external parties and we're not able to meet in person. This is the first time I'm having like a resident neighborhood meeting in terms of a neighborhood issue.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And we did it, purposely later so that, we know if people work or, they're busy during the day. We selected 7 o'clock at night to give everybody that opportunity to be able to make it.
That's great,
Very
Allison.
good.
Okay.
I look forward to that one.
I wanted to give an update on the Emerald Road sidewalk project. The contractors have been down there, digging up, redoing the sidewalk. I have to say, we have received a number of complaints that individuals' lawns have been cut up or railroad ties in front of the property have been damaged. Zach is very well aware of all the issues down there, and we're working with all of the residents in that neighborhood. Everybody's property will be restored to how it was before. The contractors are still doing work down there. So I do ask for, some patience in this process, but we will be sure to work with all the residents through any issues that, may have come up. So
Yeah, it looks like they've still a ways to go. I think all they have on the ground now, right now, as far as the sidewalks are concerned, is a bind coat. They haven't put a finish coat on it yet. So that's a whole nother day or two.
Right. And so that same contractor is also, and I just saw it today because I went for a run through town. They're doing the crosswalk on Castle Road across from Doggy Beach. They started that today. So I saw that they did, a curb cut right, before the old pharmacy there. So it's the same contractor that's going to do that work as well. So we have them in town for a while.
Yeah, and you know what? That's another one. I look at it and think, why didn't we do this sooner? We created this passage, so to speak, as people park their cars on Ward Road and over in the Short Beach parking lot, and then they make their way over to Doggy Beach with or without their dogs, or maybe they're surfing or whatever over there. We created this and a nice little gate on the other side of the road, but we have no protection, no indication of people crossing in a particular area. And so I'm glad we're finally getting to that. I think this is great.
Yeah, so that's thanks to Zach. He helped to organize that. So I also wanted to mention that I had invited Kelly Collins and Paul Smith from the Housing Authority to speak to us tonight. They weren't able to attend. I know that they were on a previous meeting where we appointed another member to the Housing Authority. We wanted to have them come back and kind of talk more generally about, the Housing Authority's operation, how one goes about, getting on the list to obtain housing and such. So I'm hoping that they'll be able to come to a future meeting.
Allison, that's great. That's long overdue.
Okay, good. So hopefully they'll be able to attend a future time.
Just as a backup, Allison, I know you were copied on it. I also sent when they indicated they couldn't make it, I also re-extended your invitation to please let us know when they can get in here.
Perfect. I wanted to mention I attended a conference yesterday put on by the Massachusetts Municipal Association, and it was all in terms of health insurance costs. It was down in Rentham, so the commute stunk. But and I was like, this is why I'm glad I don't have a long commute to work anymore. But you know, I thought it was great. It was well attended. I think there were 250 people from all over Massachusetts, and you know, it ranged from human resource directors to town administrators to finance directors. And they had representatives from Blue Cross, the GIC, and the Maya Health Trust there. They did like a panel just asking them questions about, you know, what future premium increases look like, and are there going to be plan changes? And honestly, it was a real, people came out and they're like, this is a doom and gloom meeting. They're basically saying we're going to see double-digit premium increases for the foreseeable future. The explosion of the GLP-1, the weight loss drug, has really blown up the market. And just, you know, hospitals and operations are becoming more expensive. So for this current year that we're in, our health insurance premium went up over 18%. Oh. And Tony and I did a lot of work to find room, other places in the budget where we could save in order to fund our health insurance line, which we have to. The town picks up 68% of the cost. I'm nervous about another double-digit increase and how that's going to be funded. So I may be looking at having a consultant possibly look at other possibilities of, you know, plan changes and where we might be able to save some money, and, you know, other options that we might be able to offer to employees. So I'm just mentioning that now. It might be something that I might take a look at over the next few months as we're planning for our next budget cycle. And then the final thing I want to mention is lobster trap storage. So usually it's around this time that the Board of Selectmen is approving lobster trap leases. We didn't hear from everyone, so I think we're going to wait until the next meeting to vote on the leases. But I did just want to say it's come to my understanding that there is bait being stored down by the lobster traps and other things that should not be stored. When we renew leases, we do let everybody know that they have to clean out that area. It's only for lobster trap storage. So I just wanted to bring that up on a public meeting too, just to remind everyone that those areas should be cleaned out of any bait and other, you know, non-lobster trap items. So.
You know, they've been really good in the past in doing that and keeping everything as we're asking it to be kept. Mm-hmm. So I don't see that changing.
So good. Yep, just a reminder. So I do believe probably our next meeting, which is October 15th, is when you'll be voting on the leases then.
Okay.
And that's all I had.
Okay, well, thank you, Allison. Mm-hmm. Next on the list is citizens' comment. Joe, anything you want to offer? I'll take that as a no.
He fell asleep.
Robbie,
I'll make it official. It's a no.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, Joe, thank you.
Robbie, before we hang up here, just a couple of things. One, that the TA search, how's that coming along time-wise?
I haven't talked to them for a week, but I believe we have interviews coming up with the two lead candidates. I don't know exactly what that date is, Gene, but that's our next step.
So they have two leading candidates?
Yes.
I can tell you, Gene, that I spoke to the chair about this, Skip, and the Town Administrator Act requires 3, but there quite frankly isn't 3. So you're going to get 2. And if you don't like the 2 you see, we can start the process or revisit it. But looks like you're going to get 2, not 3.
Okay, all right, great.
But it's not their doing. It's just they had, I think, 2 or 3 withdrawals within 4 or 5 days at the very end. So that's where they are.
It seems to me, Dan, I heard something about the third candidate that was going to be put forward was in an accident of some kind and had to withdraw because of the injuries.
I did hear something about that, but I'm not
Yeah.
quite. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Hey, one other, thank you, Dan. In
Sure.
fact, this comes to Dan. Guarded Drive, where we, everybody's always asking something about it. When are we gonna handle that?
We are handling it. We're going through the process. We have a case management conference next week, I believe, kicking the can down the road, ready to schedule another trial. Their ongoing appeal is still pending, but that has nothing to do with possession, so that really doesn't involve us in terms of possession, not a big deal. But we're looking at we're gonna get a trial date at the case management conference next week, so we'll keep you posted. We don't have one yet.
Okay, but it looks like it's gonna drag out a bit.
There's nothing you're right. There's nothing we can do. They're pulling out all the stops because they're just not. They just put it kindly. They're not negotiating. So
It's up to the courts, and the courts only move at one.
there's nothing we can do
Yeah.
other than what we are doing.
All right, thanks for the response.
Sure.
So I think that brings us to a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Red
Move.
Sox 2-2 Yankees tied.
Okay.
I-
We need a roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Pat O'Reilly, aye.
Rob Tibbo, aye. Go Red Sox. Thank you.
Go Red
Bye,
Sox.
guys. Bye bye.